I wanted to start anchor on a quote by Brian Tracy, and I hope I get it right. It says that for you to be a worthwhile person in your personal and career life, you have to be a worthwhile person in your self-development. And that is the biggest part of anything that you're going to be doing, is that you have to continue to invest in yourself and pour into yourself. So moving on, I'm going to be speaking about 6 lessons and 6 points that I want you to take away from everything I'm going to say today. Okay. So the first point is essentially self-development. And like you can see from the photo is, how are you pouring into yourself? Like as simple as a plant, if you want it to grow and blossom, you have to nurture it. You have to cultivate it, you have to take care of it, water it, give it some kind of plant food, manure, whatever it is for it to continue to thrive and live and blossom into what it's supposed to be. And so for yourself, what does that look like? When we talk about self-development, it spans into various aspects. It's not all that you get from the four walls of a college or university or high school, wherever you are now. There's so much that you could do beyond the educational, formal education system. And so when I talk about self-development is, how are you investing in your mind, in yourself, that when you stand up or speak in front of people, that they can tell that this is a worthwhile person, this is someone that has substance in them and they want to continue to speak to you and have some type of relationship with you, right? So when we talk about self-development, what are some ways that you could do that? Reading, right? I'm sure that might seem like a basic thing, but information is power. How are you catering to yourself that you want people to give you stuff, but what are you giving to the world as well? What are you giving into those around you that if something is happening in their lives, are you going to be top of mind for them to say, I need to reach out to this person, she's this person that can help me out with this, or he's this person that can help me out with this is this person that has this academic acumen or professional, substance that can help me get to where I need to go. So for you, wherever you're in your stage of life, whether you're just going through school, beyond that, take time to actually invest in yourself. That could be things as simple as listening to a podcast as opposed to listening to music all the time. Not that there's anything wrong with music, but there's also so much more you could do with your time, right? They've made reading, or in quotes, as absorbing information so easy that you don't have to sit down and read a physical book. You can listen to an audiobook. There's so much you can do. Oh, I can see me. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for those who are online. You can see me. So I'll stand here. I just don't like stationary stuff. I was hoping to be able to move around, but that's okay too. So that being said, I want you to be able to invest in yourself. So education is important. Information is power, but don't stick to just what you're learning in the classroom. There is things, courses online, even things as simple as TikTok videos is teaching us so much that we did not realize we needed to know, right? So take what you need to use from all the digital platforms and all of that, but make sure that it's something that is valuable to your future and your present day. Moving on, the other thing I will tell you that can really help you situate yourself in whatever career, workspace that you find yourself is to pay attention to your environment. Be very curious about your environment. There is so much around us that we can see gaps, challenges around us, and what do you think you can do to solve that problem? People are creating professions and careers out of little things that they see in their environment. Maybe not even something that they studied in school, right? People are making big careers. We're in the age of social media and all of those trending people that you see, they put up one video and next thing they're a big internet sensation. right? Not necessarily for you to be TikTok famous, but you could be famous for various things that are also meaningful beyond just dancing in front of a camera, right? So that being said, I want you to pay attention to your environment. In your immediate environment, it doesn't have to be something complicated, but think about, say for example, you're in school, you're noticing that students are perhaps struggling in a specific course, and you have strengths in that course. You could decide to start to tutor, and that could essentially kickstart a career in teaching, or you might just find that that is something that you really enjoy. If you're noticing that that's a gap, then if you feel like you have something that could probably solve that problem, then do it. So that being said, it's not just about your career. I know you might have things, and at this age, you might be very impressionable. People are telling you what you should do, how you should do things, who you should be. However, what do you want for yourself? And you might not necessarily have the answer to that question. Nobody has an exact template for what they came to this world to do. But by exploring, being conversant of what's happening in your environment, listening to the news and hearing what is happening at the local, Canada-wide or the global landscape. That way you might be able to just pick something that, this is actually of interest to me. I actually have a solution to this. And that's how you can kick something that maybe a career, maybe a side hustle, but you never know if you never, dip a toe into it and see what comes out of it. The third part lesson I want to speak about is network stewardship. How many of us have gotten a job? How many of us are working right now who have employment? Okay, so for you to get that job, what did you have to do? What were the conditions for you? Did you have to get a reference to do it? Did you have to provide a reference to the potential employer? Yes? Okay. So sometimes we are around people, even in this space today, there is other youths, the presenters, facilitators, the organization that is here doing this for you today. How are you able to foster a relationship that it's not just very transactional, that the only reason you will contact maybe your previous instructor or a former employer or somewhere that you volunteered before is only when you need a reference? That means it's just because you're using them for certain things. So when I talk about stewarding your network is how are you connecting to those around you? I put a web there to symbolize that the more people you have around you, the farther your network grows, right? And you are a reflection of those around you. And those around you are also a reflection of who you are as well. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they enabling you? Are they helping you get to the next point to help you pivot to that next stage that you want in your life? Or are they people who are keeping you down, not necessarily adding any value to your life beyond just, okay, let's go out, hang out, watch movies together, have drinks. What more can you be doing beyond that? The kinds of, when I look at my circle, it's very small, but I'm very proud of those that are around me because A, they motivate me to continue to do more because they're doing phenomenal things in their life. And that gives me the ginger, the push to know that I can be much more beyond what I am currently at. So that constant surrounding of yourself with people that add value to you, even if they're not necessarily saying anything to you directly, but by a reflection of what you see them do and how motivated and dogged they are in their own lives and in accomplishing their own goals, you would also be inspired to do more for yourself. That being said, in terms of your relationships, it's very important that you nurture it, foster those relationships. Before I came to Canada, going to school in Nigeria, the relationship I had with my instructors were very transactional, right? It's you come to class, you make sure you're getting good grades, go for your test, and there was not really a connection. It was just teacher-student relationship. But when I came here, I knew that, or I observed that it's a different culture over here, where your instructors want you to have a relationship with them. They want you to, after class, come and say hi to them because really they're human beings and they have things going on in their lives too. And the way they're interested in you, it's okay for you to be interested in them too, right? So even in that sense, sometimes maybe when you're experiencing difficulties and they're aware that this is what's going on for you, they're able to accommodate certain things that maybe they might not just give to anybody else that they have zero relationship with. And it's not necessarily to use them to make excuses or get out of doing something that you're supposed to do, or requesting for an extension of a deadline because you just were not serious about the deadline. But it's more about connection, building connection with those around you. And those around you in your immediate environment now might look like your instructors, your teachers. If you're volunteering anywhere, it's the people that you're working with, your supervisors. Those are the people that you have a day-to-day interaction with. So make an effort to get to know people. Be curious about them. You might just realize that you have so much in common, even if you're maybe from a different country, from a different space. When you're talking about even getting into the workplace environment, how are you trying to get involved in your community? If you feel like as a newcomer, as an immigrant, perhaps you don't have the Canadian experience, what can you do to get the Canadian experience? Volunteer, right? If you have certain passions, maybe you're interested in art, perhaps go to an art studio and volunteer. If you want to be an artist, there might be different career paths in art that might not necessarily be drawing art. It could be teaching people about art. It could be working in an art gallery. You never know, but based on your interest, try to do more to foster those things that you are interested in, because you might just be pleasantly surprised what comes out of it. So when I say getting creative for your workplace environment, if there are things that you aspire to be, if you want to be a teacher, go and volunteer maybe in a youth center that you're facilitating, or working with the facilitators to support students and children in classes. That's how you immerse yourself in that environment that can give you more insight into what it's actually going to be like. And based on that, you might actually just realize, you know what, maybe this is not for me, and that's okay. But again, if you never dabble into it, you never know what's going to come out of it. So I strongly encourage you to really get into get involved in your community. It could be your church, it could be school, it could be volunteering as an ambassador. Rachel here, who is one of the very interesting special speakers today, I've known her basically for the duration, or maybe more than half the duration I've been in Canada. And I've seen her grow from high school to university, and she just graduated, and it's so phenomenal to see, you work with people, support them in various capacities, and I'm so proud of the woman she is today. And I think some months ago I was telling her, I feel like I'm being at some very special milestones in your life, like when you were in high school and graduating from high school and getting into college, university, getting a scholarship. I'm so proud of this girl, she has no idea. And then having to be here today and being a speaker here. You see her right now, but there is so much more to her that you don't even know. She's such a motivated person, very driven, and I didn't need to convince her too much to do much. Like, she's a very curious person. She's very invested in her community, and it has paid off for her. So she's an example of what you can be in the future, whether that's in the near future or in the farther future. But there's only so much that can come out of it if you try to dabble into it. So get involved in your community. You will not regret it, to put it simply. My fourth point is showcase your individuality. And by that I mean you are from a different country. Wherever it is from, you have the cultural norms and traditions and belief systems that has shaped your multifaceted identity of who you are as an individual. And when we come to Canada, especially as a youth, it's almost like you feel like there is that peer pressure to fit in. Trust me, nobody achieved anything worthwhile by just rolling with the crowd. Like, it's okay to stand out. It's okay to be different and be proud of it. When you're thinking about getting a job, what do you put on your resume? You may think, oh, I don't have the experience or the skills or the talents, but you actually do, and sometimes you need somebody else to show you what that looks like. Perhaps you speak a second language. That means you're already bilingual automatically. You may speak more than one language, and that's something that you should put on your resume, right? If you volunteered somewhere, that's something you should put on your resume. But again, showcase that aspects of yourself that are, maybe you walk around your hallway in school and you see that, oh, I'm very different. It's okay to be different. Trust me, when you're with the crowd or when you're outside of the crowd, people will still talk. So you might as well just do whatever you want, right? So you can't necessarily please everybody. So I want you to showcase, be proud of that. Brag about the things that make you different. Don't hide them and try to fit in. And I know I've worked with a lot of children and youth, and especially newcomers, when they come here and they're like, oh, like, I don't want to show my food in class or eat in the cafeteria because it smells different. But how many of us can agree here today that a lot of people in the Western world are now trying to jump on the bandwagon or the trend of, Afrobeat or the African theme, or trying to wear our braids? And it's not to say it's acculturation, it's that we are spreading. The world is a global village, right? In Canada, we have such a multicultural landscape. So like, why hide those aspects of you? Show it, be proud of it. If you speak a certain language or you speak a certain way, or your faith allows you or requires you to dress in a certain way, come out and let people know that this is who you are, right? Because who wants to live a life just hiding in the shadows and not really expressing your true identity and who you really want to be in the world? So project that thing that you feel like makes you a unique being. It might just be the thing that will get you to that next step that you want to be. All right? And the next point is, regardless of how much education you have and the skills and certificates and work experience that you have, if you don't have a good attitude with that, the other things are just meaningless. But I've done a lot of job interviews, and when I interview people, I'm very curious about the person sitting in front of me, not necessarily what's on your resume, because I can instantly look at your resume and see your technical skills and see if you're a good fit for the role. But I want to know the person behind the resume. Like, who's that person? What are you like? Like, when I have a conversation with you, what kind of vibe, to put it in, your terms today, what kind of vibe am I getting from you? Are you someone who's going to be able to work well with people? Even if you have all the best talents in a group, if you are hard to work with, you're not going to last in that space. If you're that person that complains about everything but never has a meaningful solution but just complaining, people are going to be dissatisfied with you. People are going to complain about you. No one is going to want you to be around. If they see you in the hallway, they want to take the next turn because they don't want to engage you. So your attitude is everything. You might have all the best skills, experience, talents, but if you don't have a positive, good, optimistic attitude, you're going to struggle, right? You have invested so much in yourself for you to have a terrible attitude, and that's the disadvantage that you have that is going to keep you backwards. So beyond everything, in whatever career that you're going to or exploring for yourself, make sure that you are that person that when you step into a group environment, you're someone who is able to work with people. You're open to other people's ideas. You're receptive to their ideas. When someone says something that's wrong, you correct them with love and not malicious intent, just to shame them, right? Your attitude is that thing that is going to keep you memorable to other people. When I work with my team, the other day I was so frustrated with someone on my team, and in my mind, I really just wanted to get things off my chest and tell them how I really felt. But like, is that really going to get me the outcome that I want? Yes, it might feel good in the moment to, blow that steam off, but in the long run, that's not going to get me the outcome. That's not going to get me the change of attitude or performance that I want to see in that person. So even though I'm frustrated, what I need to do in that time is physically remove myself from that situation, get myself emotionally regulated to be able to have a meaningful, rational conversation with that person and express what their actions, how it's impacting the work that we're doing, rather than the person or the individual, right? It's what they've done that's the issue, not the person. So when I'm saying your attitude is how you treat people, how do you want to be treated, right? How you treat people is what they're going to remember most about you, not necessarily what you said, it's how you make them feel. And the last thing I would say is start early. There is no time to waste. Just listen to the past speaker talk about him having to, he did by default of not following the instructions or the support that his mom had given to him to study French. He had to pay for that in various ways, even if it's maybe not steep or something that really impacted his well-being or his life, but it's something that could have made a world of difference in his experience in supporting people meaningfully from an earlier stage than maybe perhaps later in life. As you grow older and start to get involved in various things, you're going to realize that 24 hours is so short to get things done in a day. There's so much that will be thrown at you that if you are not well equipped, well prepared, and making sure that you are organized as an individual, a lot of the aspects in your life are going to suffer at the judgment of certain things. So I would strongly recommend you start early, whatever it is, wherever you are in your stage of life, start from that point. Today, what do you think are some tangible steps? It's not just about consuming all this information today. If it's one or two things that you're like, because of what this person has said today, I'm going to take X, Y, and Z action. Take one, two, or three things that you know is within your means and capacity to pivot into that next stage that you want to see yourself in. Start that thing that you feel like, oh, I'm very good at, but I'm shy. I don't want to put my stuff online. What are people going to say? They're going to laugh at me, but some other people might be very interested in what you have to say and what you're doing and the kind of talents that you have. So showcase those things. Don't conceal any aspect of you thinking that people are going to judge me or that's not the culture here or that's not the norm. We're realizing that every day there's so much traffic, influx of immigrants into this country. This country is such a multicultural landscape, so why not be that person that you really want to be? Why trying to fit with the bubble here, right? So that being said, please, I strongly encourage you to take one or two lessons. It doesn't have to be from what I said today. Maybe there's perhaps something that somebody else said today that really struck a nerve with you or left something that really resonated with you. Take action today. Don't wait and say, oh, I'll do it in 5 years' time, or I'm too young for that. You're not too young for it. Dabble into it. Make all the mistakes you need to make on the way. That's how you're going to get better. You're not going to start and instantly be good at it. You have to foster it and continue to try and tweak. And even as a business owner, there's so much I don't know, but there's so much I know as well, right? I'm going to make mistakes on my way going, and that's okay. They're my mistakes. At least I know the mistakes I made, and I know perhaps maybe what I need to do differently to get a different outcome. And if I don't have the answer, who has that answer? Go and seek out that person and find the answer that you need. And to wrap things up, I would end by saying that your career, whatever it is that you want to be in your life, or whoever you want to be in that workspace that you're in, it's not a linear journey, right? You're starting right now, and you might think the end point is to be a nurse. Maybe not. You might just be surprised that life is going to take you a different direction. And indulge it a little. Don't be afraid of change or, oh, I don't know this state, so let me stay on the safe side. Safe is not going to do anything phenomenal for you. All right, so take risks. Know that there is no finite path to where you're going. You're going to have twists and turns, and indulge them. You might just be pleasantly surprised. So in terms of the skills that I would recommend that you make sure that is something that will help equip you in the workplace, I would strongly recommend be very flexible, adaptable, right? If change comes, don't fight it, reject it, or try to denounce it. Explore it. You might realize, okay, this is not for me, but you might also realize, oh, I'm interested in that. Let's see what more I can get out of this. So be flexible, but not in the sense that you don't have structure or in terms of you don't know what it is that you want or what it is that you don't want, because that way you're just rolling with the crowd, right? That's not what I'm talking about. But when change comes or things that are unanticipated come, it's okay. Don't feel like the world is crashing because you didn't get the outcome that you want. Okay, you've learned the lesson. What can I do differently? Don't problemize where you are. What can I do? What's the alternative? Think about what next beyond that. Okay, you failed at this. That's okay. I failed in so many things too. I appreciate the previous speaker speaking about the things that he did not do well in life and perhaps that are lessons for him. So we're not all here coming to tell you, oh, we're some perfect individuals. We have also made mistakes on the way, but that's okay. That's just life, right? So make sure that you're flexible. You're taking initiative. One of the first jobs that I had, the manager, the same week that I told her something, we were supposed to do something, or we talked about it like weeks back, and I did it because we had a conversation about it. And then when I went to show her, I'm like, oh, this is what we talked about, I've done it. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that you were going to do it. Like, I know we talked about it, I know we wanted to do it, but it's on me to, as a manager, I did not follow up. And I'm like, well, we had that conversation and this is what we decided. So sure, I did it. And that same week, I got an offer of promotion, which I don't think was because of that, but it's just that attitude that you take the initiative to do things. You don't have to be told what to do before you do it. If you see there's a water spill on the ground, will you just walk away from it when maybe there is a paper cloth beside you that you can use to wipe it? Those little things matter, and trust me, those around you, they're a mirror. They're watching you. It's like monkey see, monkey do. You never know who's really watching around you. And it's not to necessarily put up a performance for people to see you I'm such a good chap, but it's also being a genuinely good person and someone who wants to make the world better for the next person, to make the world a safer place for the next person, that if I see it still on the ground, even if I'm able to walk around it, perhaps I can clean it for the next person that might not be paying that much attention and slip and fall, right? So that being said, please make sure that you're someone who takes initiative, you're someone who's adaptable, you're someone who's flexible, you can work in a team, be receptive to people, listen to other people, but also share your ideas, right? Not everyone is perfect. Your ideas might not be the best ideas. The other person's ideas might not be the best ideas, but if you don't come together and listen to each other and perhaps form a new idea out of that, you never know what's going to come or what could be more out of that. So that's all I really want to end this presentation on today. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and if you have any questions, I'm open to taking your questions. Thank you guys.